Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, this is your favorite Russian talking, and today we're gonna be doing Unholy Death Knight Pressure Master video. We're gonna talk about the stat optimizations, which are the best offensive stats out there. Talk about the talent tree and which are the best talents for which occasions. Glyphs, and obviously we're gonna touch base about rotation. Even though there's no set rotation in PvP, there is to some extent still going to be one. And the battle goes on. Mastery or multi-strike, which is the best offensive stat for PvP? Well, to my calculation, I think Mastery is better. But this is what I actually found out. For every 100 rating, you get about 1.15% chance to multi-strike, which gives you extra 30% damage. It's 0.453 DPS increase, and it also procs necrosis, which is great. Mastery, on the other hand, for every 100 rating, you get 2.27% of shadow damage, but we only do about half of our damage is shadow, maybe not even half, maybe a little, maybe like 60%. So just a pure raw actual sustained damage, Mastery wins over multi-strike. But what is good about the multi-strike? Well, it's kind of the ultimate casino when it comes to multi-strike. First of all, it procs necrosis, and then if your Scourge Strike crits at the same time while multi-striking and necrosis crit, which is ungodly of 0.5% per Scourge Strike or 0.1%, 0.2%, guess what? Your Scourge Strike will actually do upwards to 25 to 30k damage fully geared. Meaning that the Death Knight went from Master of Death and Decay, King of consistent damage, to a casino striking basis, trying to make it rain, bitches. In PvE, multi-strike can be better because it affects non-shadow damages for Unholy Decay. It procs of itself. You can multi-strike a Scourge Strike and multi-strike off of it. So, and proc necrosis twice with it. But the problem with the PvP is that bosses don't kite the decays. We don't have 100% uptime or nearly 100% uptime, and we don't do as many Scourge Strikes in PvP compared to PvE. Therefore, I think that Mastery will be a better stat for us. These are the best Unholy stats for PvP, in my opinion. Mastery, multi-strike, then versatility, then crit, and then obviously haste. This is my favorite talent picks for Unholy Decay. Basically, a Plague Lich gives you tons of damage with the Scourge Strikes, Lichborn into healing and CC escapes, Asphyxiate or Chill Blades depending on the situation, Blood Tap because Scourge Strikes, and then because we have a lot of Death Runes going from a Plague Lich and a Blood Tap, I decided to go with a Death Siphon as my survivability talent. Basically, the way it works is 2 Death Siphons are stronger than 1 Death Strike by roughly about 30 to 40%. This is a great ground of Gorfin's Grasp for battlegrounds or arenas, and obviously Breath of Sindragosa and Defile are better picks depending on what situation you are. If you get a lot of ticks going, Defile is actually better. If you're going for the high burst, then I would actually say Breath of Sindragosa is infinitely better in that case. Also, needless to say that because you have Plague Lich, you also get a tons of runic power as well. That moves us in towards the glyph. I like the glyphs of Runic Power, Dark Simulacrum and Icy Touch. Dark Simulacrum and Icy Touch, especially when the Dispriests are so strong and capping their silences and AoE fears are extremely potent. But on top of it, Runic Power actually gives you tons of Runic Power in general. And because there's not many spell cliffs going on right now, I think we actually have a decent survivability with the Plague Lich to actually disregard the AMS glyph and actually go with the Runic Power. This is more of like offensive build up, but running this, you will never ever run out of runic powers, you'll never run out of runes, you'll never run out of any resources, and you will be tracking people like there's no freaking tomorrow. Okay, so for the last 100 tier talents, this is what I have. It's either go Defile or Breath, and obviously Defile more for like a consistent AoE spread pressure, and the Breath for very high and strong bursts. And Necrotic Plague is worthless. Why? Well, simply put, mathematics. The average tick of Necrotic Plague in skirmishes, while I actually sacrifice some of the Scourge Strikes to do more fast 3 strikes to extend the 15 stack duration, was 3855, while the Blood Plague tick and Frost Fever tick were 3655 and 2500 respectively. So basically when we actually cut it down, because necrotic plague ticks every 2 seconds versus 3 seconds, necrotic plague DPS was 1927, while the blood plague plus frost fever combined was 2058. So not only they tick harder than necrotic plague, they also don't require a talent. Necrotic Plague does give you runic power, and really good amount of runic power when you get focused, but with my build with the Plague Lich and runic power glyph, you'll never run out of the resources. You're not resources stuffed, and loss of the Defile and Breath of Sindragosa Burst is just too big to warrant Necrotic Plague choice. The only thing that Necrotic Plague does bring it is auto spread, but that's more of a skill issue than anything else. Meaning that you can spread those diseases yourself, don't expect the talent to do it for you. Defile on the other hand is amazing. Without any procs or anything else, it does about 29k damage on a single target during the 10 seconds. With the procs and everything else, it can get up to 11k tick crits. It's amazing versus melee Glyphs. It gives you 10% damage mitigation, and I think it's gonna be one of the best for battlegrounds or rated battlegrounds. Trust me, if you haven't run with a Defile, you underestimate the talent greatly. It also works extremely well with the Chillblades, but it also bugged a little bit because Glyph is not affecting it with a 50% snare, and that's gonna be addressed in the vlog tomorrow. Breath of Sindragosa on the other hand is an amazing burst talent. 8 to 12 seconds is the optimal uptime. Yes, people can hold it for like 13 seconds, 15 seconds, some even claim 18 seconds, but you get kited. So if the person lets you breathe on them for 18 seconds straight, he's a fucking potato, and you will gonna win him regardless. But by itself, it actually does 12 to 7k and 10k damage per tick. And that's off global cooldown, meaning you can shove your Scourge Strikes into their butthole while breathing all over them. And it's wonderful. It is one of the best burst talents there is. Plus 10% spell heal is also not bad at all, especially if you're going up against the reds. When they pop wings, you literally mitigate or heal back 10% of their holy magical damage. When it comes to rotation, obviously there's no set rotation in PvP, but from what I understand, the priority is actually Scourge Strikes. They do the highest DPS when you actually combine them together, and yes, they can multi-strike Necrosis. Death Call would be the second best, and then it's also a Festering Strike, and don't forget the Soul Reaper at 45%. Now, also on top of it, the 2-set bonus that gives us 25% extra damage whenever we use Grip. It affects the Scourge Strike, but better yet, it actually affects Soul Reaper's shadow portion of the damage, and that is huge. If somebody kites you at low HP, just grip him for Soul Reaper alone, and if that shit crits, it kills. So therefore, I think that the 2-set bonus is best to use on the Soul Reaper, but obviously sometimes you just need to use it as a gap closer as well. Basically, this is how it goes when it comes to initial damage rotation. You do auto break into Festering Strike into a Scourge Strike, then you do a Blood Bowl to spread your diseases plus Chain of Ice. And the reason why you're doing a Chain of Ice here is very simple, because then when you use a Plague Lich to activate it, that Chain of Ice Frost rune is actually going to be converted into a Death rune itself. So then you do a Plague Strike again into 2 full Scourge Strikes. You'll be sitting at about 80 runic power, and you do either 2 coils onto your main enemy or 3 if your pet takes damage. Couple cool perks about this in general is that Shadow Infusion actually legitimately using to build up your Shadow Infusion stacks very fast. Healing pet actually comes as a huge priority, because it only costs 10 runic power to heal your pet. Fastest stack generation. And then also Breath of Sindragosa generates both Blood Top and Shadow Infusion stacks as well. Also guys, on top of it, I am gonna be streaming frequently. I'll try to push about 5 days a week for like 3-4 hours, and trust me, it's a huge progress to compare to how much I'm busy I'm gonna be and was. But anyway, couple weeks for me to get the Rust stuff, and then we're gonna fuck people up. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching my video, and до свидания.